broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. Bringing you best scenes exclusive. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
We should totally chop him. Because now I, of course, know how to chop. You now know how to chop. It's time for birthday chops at Georgia Palooza.
Oh, it's both their birthdays, so you both get birthday chops.
That won't count.
Five times.
Fight fans, hello, welcome to...
Ow, that's my shoulder, dude.
I don't have the right angle.
Yeah, you're missing there as well. That was only 3.
Oh, no, I'm only 7 years old.
Guys, welcome back. We've got a special late night, but still just as antic-filled episode of UFC on AfterBuzz TV. Of course, my name is Daria Berenato, and you can find me...
Why are you hosting? She's right here.
Wait,
she's back here.
She's back! Wide shot! She's back! If you didn't already have the wide shot. Anyway.
Oh,
that's right.
Turn on the volume.
Guys, the detriment and the loss of millions of fans of the USA Network and WWE Universe is AfterBuzz's benefit. We've got our girl back, Daria Berenato, the Jersey Devil, has returned, and not a minute too soon for special... Is this in the shot here? Right here, J-Day and Palooza. It's in my shot now. We're going to go. This is a special late night episode, partially because the UFC ran in San Diego this evening. A rare Wednesday night show, but also we are going to go and go through midnight. And you guys, whoever is in with us, Joe Boza, I hope you're around, my man. We're going into July 16th, 2015. The annual international birthday celebration of J-Day. And now, as I know it, Palooza. Applause.
Wow.
Cue the applause.
New Day rocks. This is a wrestling. This is a UFC show. George
All right.
Hermoza rocks. It's not the same.
Hey.
There we go. All right.
I missed you. But seriously, guys, it feels so good to be back behind the desk. I was a guest last night on your amazing show, AfterBuzz Tough Enough, on the couch over there.
It is my show.
It is your show. And it feels great to be back here with you guys talking about some UFC.
You missed the yellow and black attack?
I missed the yellow and black attack. While I was gone, my lullaby to sleep was black and yellow, black and yellow. It made me feel right at home.
You didn't count buzzulators?
No, I did.
Buzz you later.
I actually was like saying it in my sleep, like buzz you later, buzz you later. No, I'm just kidding. But I had so much fun, and I'm so glad to be back. It's just the beginning of this journey that you guys are gonna follow me on, because you guys are like my WWE aficionados.
Well, I am.
Pro wrestling aficionado.
Pro wrestling aficionado. But in this case,
I'm that old.
I am. They call me the sports entertainment encyclopedia.
There we go.
So
we do.
They do actually.
They do.
Christian Rosenberg does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, we're sitting here talking about MMA, and as I said, the UFC ran a rare Wednesday show today. Fight Night, I believe, 71.
Last time they had a Wednesday show was July 16, 2014.
Wasn't that the Jersey card?
Donald Cerrone versus Jim Miller.
It was in New Jersey, yeah.
Check that out. I did forget about that.
Donald Cerrone, Jim Miller.
I practically forget about matches, a week later, a week afterwards.
There are an influx of matches lately, but hey, Jay, how about
Daria.
Sunday I get my seat back?
We can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Something we can talk about.
It was a birthday boy gift to you.
Okay. Girl, I've been holding it down.
Have you been holding down the fort?
You would know if you watched the shows. I know you had internet access.
I did have internet access. I can't even lie.
Mm-hmm.
I will watch them.
There you go.
I did watch...
Remind me of what the matches are when you go back and watch, because I have no idea what the hell we talked about.
I'll let you know.
Okay, fair enough. So, guys, a fantastic Fight Night 71, capping off a long... I was going to say a long week of UFC events. We've been going nonstop here.
There's a show this Saturday.
Exactly that. Still not over. We've got Scotland coming up, and then shortly after that, a title defense with TJ Dillashaw defending against Renan Barão. Let's start out the results here real quick. Andrew Craig and Lyman Good met at 170. Lyman Good won by KO in the second round here. Middleweights King Kevin Casey, one of the three, one of the three folks you knew going into this one, facing Ildemar Marajo Alcantara. Kevin Casey came out with a unanimous decision, 30-27. That was a serious. That was the theme for tonight. Was unanimous decisions across the board. In the prelims at welterweight, Sean Strickland beat Igor Adagio. Oh man, I had this one. I was studying it. Sean Strickland won.
You had one job, dude.
It's
Not
his
my
birthday.
one job. Yeah, it's my birthday. Quit
It's not
treating
your
me.
birthday yet.
It almost is. They're celebrating on Facebook already. Unanimous decision, 30-27, all across the board. Rani Yaha beat Masanori Kanehara. Split decision in a rare switch of results here. 29-28, 29-28, 28-29. Jessica Andrade and Sarah Moraz. Jessica Andrade came out unanimous decision, 30-27. Sam Cecilia coming out with another unanimous decision. Also, 30-27, 29-28. That was at featherweight. In the main card, which really, guys, is one of the most fantastic main cards of this year. As much as the prelims were kind of trying, the main card delivered on all fronts there. Alan Jouban opened up against Matt Dwyer, opened up the show. And welterweight, he came away with a really interesting result we should talk about. He did win by unanimous decision, 29-27 across the board. Kevin Lee defeated James Montasri by submission, by guillotine in the first. That was at lightweight. Of course, another one of our guests,
Our local
veteran
boys
guests.
as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Scotty Young Guns Jorgensen and Manny Gambarian went at 135. Manny in what I felt was one of two or three different matches of the night. Fantastic, great scrap overall between the both of them. Manny Gambarian walked away, unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. That's one of those ones that I think, but Manny did win, but it doesn't reflect what Scotty Jorgensen brought to the table there. Right before the co-main event, the second women's match of the night, Holly Holm, the preacher's daughter, a very celebrated boxer unto herself, meeting Marion Renault at 135. Holly Holm, again, unanimous decision. This was just a drubbing, wasn't it? 30-27, 30-26. Somebody gave her 29-28. So
Yeah, I don't know where that 29-28 came from. It was a decisive 30-26, 30-27 even.
you want to assume it's Mike Bell? Probably Mike Bell, right?
I don't know. I don't know who it is.
Mike, you're next. You're coming back, buddy. You're going to explain this stuff to us.
J-Tan just called you out, Michael Bell, so now you have to come back to defend yourself, to clean your name. No, I don't know who it was, but I don't know how you got that. Holly Holm was connecting in the second and third round decisively and accurately.
It had to have been the first.
It was the first round, but even that, I don't see 29-28.
You didn't see it.
No.
Co-main event and the main event, guys. This is going to be the big payoff for you guys. If you can catch it on, I believe it'll run on Fox Sports 2 most likely later this week. Josh the Punk Thompson, longtime former Strikeforce champion and veteran, versus Tony El Cucuy Ferguson, who is certainly having the time of his career right now on a hot streak. Ferguson defeated Thompson. Punk. Thinking CM Punk here. Unanimous decision, 30-26 across the board. Again, this one was just an all-out war, and certainly worth your time to go out of the way and see. And in the main event, finally foregoing a decision result here. I think we only had like three of the entire show. Frank Mir and Todd Duffee. Frank Mir. These guys just went at it. It was a minute 13 into the first round. Frank Mir connects with a hard left that dropped Duffee senseless. Winner by KO. To me, KO of the year contender, at least.
It was what I expected it to be honest. You know when you put two guys like this in a cage together, Frank Mir, Todd Duffee. Obviously, Frank Mir's been around forever, and he still has that knockout power, and he proved that tonight.
Yeah. The fight of the night, we had some strange results here, in my opinion. To their credit, Alan Jouban and Matt Dwyer gets fight of the night. Performance bonuses go to Frank Mir and Tony Ferguson. both of whom, those two, I think you can argue very understandably. I mean, they had fantastic performances. But to me, that fight of the night should have been Tony Ferguson and Josh Thompson.
I agree.
I could see either way. I think the reason why I went to Jouban and Dwyer was because it's amazing to actually win. Everyone thought it was going to be a draw, I think, once Jouban got that point taken away for the eye poke.
Well, let's talk about that.
Face.
Yeah, that was
that was the first fight of the night.
Yeah.
On the main card, that is our buddy Alan Jouban,
Yep.
who is an AfterBuzz alumni, multiple time AfterBuzz.
I think he's
alumni,
a three-time veteran.
Three time.
Are you done with that?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it going for a little while.
Okay, so Alan Jouban.
We've created a monster. You realize
you guys
that,
have.
dude?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
She loves it.
I really do. No, Alan Jouban is not only an amazing fighter and super entertaining, he's one of those guys that understands this game. He understands that in order to sell tickets, in order to stay in this game for a long time, you need to put butts in the seats. You need to be charismatic. You need to entertain.
Our girl's all grossed up.
You know we're talking about MMA, right? Not pro wrestling.
I'm talking about MMA people, not pro wrestling. Although I think it applies to both.
You want to talk about pro wrestling?
I got a little pro wrestling jitters, but no, I'm talking about MMA right now. No, I honestly believe that he has everything it takes to be a champion because we like the Conor McGregors now. We like the Ronda Rouseys. We like the people that stand out and stick up for what they believe in, and they talk. And Alan Jouban does that.
That's the thing. Because I was going to say, Alan is not a Conor McGregor. Alan is not a Ronda Rousey in terms of their public persona and talking trash.
Right.
He's a more subdued. He's a very approachable guy, you know.
But I think they all have one key factor in common, and it's that natural charisma. It's that thing that we always talk about. It's that it factor that when he gets on the microphone, you listen to him. You know, he's not just another guy blabbering on saying, "Oh, I want a title shot."
See, I think the difference between Conor McGregor and Alan Jouban, or a lot of guys and Alan Jouban, is Conor McGregor, Chael Sonnen. This isn't a bad thing, but they talk a lot of their ass. Again, it's not a bad thing. It's just the way it is. You know,
right.
People will listen. As opposed to Alan Jouban, it's like every word has a meaning. You know, he doesn't just say those kind of random things. It's like he says things and they have meaning behind it.
He backs them up, and he doesn't just talk to talk.
Yeah.
He talks and he means it. I understand what you're saying. He has validity in his word.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the match itself. As we said, we scored it, I think across the board, all of us scored it really 28-28, expecting a draw.
Definitely.
Jouban was docked a point in the first round for a knee to the head of
He
Dwyer.
thought it was initially the shoulder, and that was his immediate argument after it happened. But then obviously during the replay, it was very clear.
He was throwing a flurry.
Regardless of intent, it was a knee to the head.
He dropped Dwyer and pushed him up against the cage. Dwyer was kind of on at least one knee, and Alan was just still going in through that knee. It did land, like you said. It was pretty blatant, but obviously not intentional.
Yeah, I think it's a close call when they have the hand down but not a knee, because it's like we talked about, there's that touch up down thing that people play sometimes, but he had a knee on the ground. So for the sake of that, it was and illegal knee.
And to his credit, Dwyer himself, he dropped Jouban early, was working for a guillotine here. Jouban did escape. And kind of came alive a bit more towards the end. But that first round, I thought Dwyer, who had a huge reach and height advantage on Alan, was using it very well, and was landing as much as Alan was. Alan's striking looked really good, but Dwyer was commanding his length quite a bit.
I think Alan Jouban had a hard matchup here, to be honest. I think, like you said, the length and the reach of Dwyer was really something hard to deal with, because not only does he have that length and reach, but he knows how to use it, like you said. Yeah. So Alan Jouban's usually the one completely outstriking his opponent. Where he still did that this fight, of course, but I think Dwyer gave him a run for his money because of that reach advantage.
Yeah. He came back in the second and third, though.
Absolutely.
Alan didn't.
Yeah.
Talking about the cartwheel kick.
Yeah.
He landed
capoeira.
a cartwheel kick.
Capoeira kick.
Yes. A kick to the neck. It landed right on the neck, which is fine. That counts.
There was a capoeira kick at the end of the second, and I think he threw a few of them in the third, right?
Go Alan.
Yeah. I mean, we
cool.
scored those two for Alan, which would have ended up a 28. But it seems that those guys, the judges saw Alan winning all three of them, but then had to dock a point officially.
It's funny because I was saying, if you would ask me how I would have scored the fight, I would have had a draw. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want to see a draw, though.
True.
Definitely, Dwyer did not win that fight. So if I had to pick one, it had to have been Jouban, but just for the sake of scoring and just the way that MMA is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was surprised but satisfied as well, knowing that there was a clear winner in the record books. And
True.
I agree. The result made me really happy because, like you said, normally in this kind of situation we would see that draw because it was like, oh, we had to take a point away, and it was what it was. But in this sense, it really made sense for the overall fight. If you looked at this fight, you would say Alan Jouban was the clear winner, and that's the way it worked out.
Yeah.
So
Difference between Pride rules and Unified rules judging.
Very true.
After that, again, what I thought was Fight of the Night nominee, Scotty Young Guns Jorgensen and Manny Gamburian at 135. They've jumped around a little bit. We've seen Scotty, actually both of them, come down from 145 where they fought previously. Scotty Jorgensen, of course, being a long time. What are you doing?
Why did you shrink to my height?
To get the shot? We already framed, man.
Because I was told to.
Everybody on iTunes, George just dropped his chair a little bit to get eye line with Daria there, and
He's actually shorter than me now. I feel
and
big.
now he's just crunching down. This is what we're gonna get, guys. 11 o'clock, late night show. This is like AfterBuzz after hours, guys.
Every time we've had a late show, it's been very out there.
Joseph
Playful.
Boza knows us better than anybody out there on the internet. Joseph Boza, I'm talking to you right now. You know that when we do a late night show, we get crazy. You know, Daria, my
I don't know
bedtime's
if
like
he's
8
on.
p.m.
Do you got a chat room, man? Because I'm waiting for YouTube to load up here. I got no chat room
It's
yet.
there, but I don't think it's updating. Either up here,
Yeah.
it's not updating, or people
Yeah,
aren't commenting.
Joseph Boza's there. I know he is.
So this match, though, it's hard to even go through the entire the back and forth. I couldn't give you bullet points on what happened here, but Scotty Jorgensen, Manny Gamburian, just an all around scrambling war. I want to say there were big takedowns. Manny Gamburian, of course, coming off a big jiu-jitsu and judo background. Scotty Jorgensen, collegiate wrestler himself. Both of these guys have been around the game for a long, long time, and so it's funny that they haven't met up before. But man, this scrap. Actually, and as I'm thinking about it, I believe Scotty Jorgensen had dropped down to 125 not long ago. I could be wrong about that, but I think he's come up to 135. I think I could be wrong about that, but I'm
We're about to find out.
Yeah, off the top of my head.
But we were talking about how the curse, because it seems that everybody who Ronda Rousey trains with has been losing a lot, whether it's Shayna, unfortunately.
Manny broke the curse.
Jessamine,
Marina Shafir.
Travis Brown was training with them for a little bit. Jake Ellenberger.
Ellenberger, yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Manny, the Anvil.
What'd you guys think about this match?
So Manny Gamburian is obviously one of those guys that's been around the game for so long, and we know he's so technically sound, but to see him put on a brawl like this and to really get in the nitty gritty and throw the strikes he threw and land them, that was entertaining to me. Not that we haven't seen this Manny before, but I think he's evolving in the sense of the sport, in the sense of getting in there and really being the aggressor. This was a different Manny, and I really liked it. He had a nice guillotine attempt in the beginning. It was reversed, and Jorgensen got a guillotine on him. The entire match was tit for tat,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It was back and forth. I think this is the Manny Gamburian that we were looking to see when he came off of Ultimate Fighter.
Right.
We expected a lot, I think, from... I personally expected a long run with him. And, it was kind of a mixed bag. Dealt with some injuries, some losses that, shouldn't have gone that way, But it is what it is. That one, just it's one that's worth going out. When I was watching during the show, once I got to this, we skipped over Kevin Lee and James Montasri. I'm not sure how much there is to talk about that one, but this was the high point after watching how many prelims? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 prelims go to decision, or rather 5 of them, and one was a KO in the third. These 3 matches, really, I knew that we had something special here. The tide had kind of changed with Kevin Lee finishing James Montasri with a really nasty rear naked choke in the first.
Yeah.
Hate to see it to anybody that comes through AfterBuzz Studios, but that was... Talk about the match.
Yeah, James Montasri is a friend of mine, obviously. I trained with his girlfriend, Jessica Pryor, who you guys had on the show while I was gone, I believe. He is an athlete. When I watch this guy train at Black House, he's really aggressive. He's always trying new things. He's one of those guys that's not afraid to get in there and fight. So anytime you go see James Monstrossi fight, you know you're going to see a show. Just like Alan Jouban and a lot of these other SoCal locals. I think it's in the water down here or something like that.
The what?
The water.
The what?
Oh.
Jesus.
Anyway, that being said, when you're going against a high-level wrestler like Mr. Kevin Lee, I mean, you have to be careful when you get in these situations. I was watching as Monstrossi was trying to transition out of this position, and he was almost doing everything right, like he was trying to get out of it properly, but Kevin Lee was so good at just hanging on him like a leech, really, and
big
staying close to him.
Suplex there, right? Got the clinch
Suplex,
off the cage.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
And he snuck that choke in, and next thing you know, it was too tight to get out of.
I got my chat room going. You guys got the chat room going?
Yeah, we got mine.
I see Sammy Drum in here with us. Joe Boza, of course, thank God. Luis Paulin, maybe Luis, not quite sure. Shout us out some questions or thoughts on the show tonight, guys. We'll be talking about it and trying. Yeah, Kevin Lee could go to the top 15 with his showing tonight. Joe Boza says. What do you think?
Joe Boza is a smart man.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. I think he's a young kid. I think he's fresh, and I think he's raring to go right now. Maybe a couple more wins, and we'll see him in the top 15.
I mean, that lightweight division is so stacked from top to bottom. You just had Dustin Poirier just kind of entering and making a mark in the lightweight division. Ali Quinta, who was supposed to fight on this card against Gilbert Melendez. Initially was...
Gil Melendez and I Quinta
was... Who was it before Gilbert Melendez?
I don't
remember.
Green.
Bobby Green.
All right.
He got hurt. Then Gilbert Melendez. Then obviously he got hurt. He got for testing positive.
And then you have Tony Ferg that's just tearing through this division right now. It's insane. But the funniest moment of this fight was the double eye poke. I mean, how often?
It was a single
eye poke. How awesome it actually happened. I hate to see that.
It was a single eye poke.
Happen to those guys.
You said Monstrossi was playing it off as if he got eye poked.
He said
I think he did. Yeah. I think
I didn't see an eye poke.
I didn't see it either. No one seemed to see it. However, I do think probably that, something hit him. Obviously, I don't think he was faking it, but it leads to a brilliant, Eddie Guerrero-inspired spot of, somebody. If I would do this, if I was a fighter, frankly, and Daria, you should do this.
That would be the lying portion of his gimmick.
And that's fine, and that's good. You should, fighters, here, this is for you guys. Anybody that's listening, aspiring fighters.
I don't think this is good advice.
This is excellent advice. This is playing the game. This is the visual head version of the 3-point stance here. You poke anybody in the eye, and they twist off and go, you do exactly the same thing.
Here's what we do.
Right as fast as possible.
If you kick somebody in the groin, start grabbing your foot.
That's too.
My foot.
There you go. Or that.
Hit your groin.
Yeah. Sell the other thing. That way you're not going to get a point deducted from you.
I don't recommend this, guys.
What do you mean? This would have been the case. Wrestler. You know what? Actually, it's a shame that Alan Jouban didn't do that. Alan could have kneed him in the head and then maybe fallen over and grabbed his head and said, he kneed me in the head. Even though he was on a 3-point stance on the ground.
It's a possibility.
Just a thought, guys. Give it see how it works in the gym, in the dojo there. So after that, then Holly Holm, Marion Renault. Just talking about a one-sided drubbing here.
There's a lot of history behind this match.
Yeah,
that's true. It's all over the place with the judging tonight. But there's a lot of history behind this match. You have Holly Holm, former world champion boxer and kickboxer, coming into the UFC in her last performance on the LA card, actually, that Jay and I attended, going against Raquel Pennington. Wasn't that impressive of a performance? Me and Jay kind of looked at each other and we were like, this is the Holly Holm we've been hearing about.
Octagon jitters.
Definitely the first time UFC jitters. This performance was quite the contrary. I saw a composed, fearless Holly Holm. She is one of the most aggressive fighters in this division right now, obviously besides our champ. But she goes hard and she goes forward. I just think she's one of those fighters, similar to Kat Zingano, that needs a little time to get into her groove. Second round, third round, that's what's going to favor Holly Holm, and it definitely worked in this fight. Marion Renault, she is an older fighter that Dana White originally said would never be in the UFC.
Older in age.
Yeah, in age.
Yeah.
Dana White said she would never be in the UFC. She's too old. No way, no way, no way. Now, after signing her and after her making her debut, he completely retracted his statement because she's a legit fighter. She puts on shows and she's definitely delivered in her past UFC fights. That being said, tonight was not her night. Holly Holm outclassed, out-techniqued Marion Renault all around.
I agree. I mean, I think that first round was kind of it could have really gone either way. So I kind of see where the judges scored her for Renault, because the first round was kind of slow.
Right.
But I think Holly Holm was just getting more comfortable. I was kind of comparing her to Anderson Silva. Relax, not like that. But Anderson Silva is somebody who kind of feels you out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just that Holly Holm took a little bit longer, because when she did in those second and third rounds, she was a machine. She was hitting you. She was striking you. She would go for a kick. She would. Renault would block it, but she'd still get hurt, you know?
She's relentless.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most entertaining styles of fighting, at least for me to watch, because not only is her boxing fast and fierce, but she punches hard. You could just tell those punches hurt. And she's busy with the kicks, meanwhile. She's definitely an entertaining fighter. I'm going to say give her Jessica Evil Eye after Jessica faces Misha Tate. I think she's going to lose to Misha Tate. And I would put Jessica Evil Eye versus Holly Holm. And then you decide what you do with the winner of that. If the winner's Holly Holm, give her to Misha. If the winner's Jessica Evil Eye, and I don't know. We talk about that then.
I mean, that'd be an interesting matchup. With that said, I do think that Holly Holm still needs a little bit more polishing. I know a lot of people were saying as soon as she signed that she should fight Ronda Rousey, and
No way.
yeah, now we know there's like no way that she should fight
Because
Rousey.
there's a very large difference between being a world championship boxer and a
Yeah.
world championship kickboxer than being a champ in the UFC, especially
Oh,
in
yeah.
the
Especially
bantamweight
being
women's
Ronda.
division.
Yeah.
She hasn't been tested on the ground yet, and
That's
I hate
another
to
truth.
parrot the doubters of Conor McGregor, but we still need to see how she does on the ground. What do you-
Unless you're Joanna and Jacek, who just is
Yeah.
unstoppable on the feet and does not get taken down.
See, I would love for Holm.
Did she get taken down in the Claudia fight? That Claudia fight was
Claudia
back and
Gadelha
forth.
might have had her down,
yeah.
but I
Yeah.
don't think she did any damage on the ground. She was like that type to pop right back up, if my record is right.
I mean, Holly Holm was very accurate too. Not as accurate as Joanna. I mean, that girl just destroyed Jessica Penne.
She picks people apart, like the definition of picking people apart.
But I think Holly Holm can get there. I think she's a little bit more not be so patient again. But again,
Right.
I think she's just trying to feel out. I think her next fight,
But-
we're gonna see her in kill mode.
I think each time we're going to see her progress, because if you look at her in rounds 2 and 3, you would never use the word
Exactly,
patient. I
yeah.
mean, she's a devil in there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she's not. She's anything but a devil. That's me.
She could be the new Mexico Devil,
No,
the Albuquerque Devil.
the preacher's daughter. We'll stick with that.
Maybe that should be the fight: the Jersey Devil versus the Preacher's Daughter.
That would be an interesting fight. Look at that. So much irony.
You'd get killed. I love you,
She
but
would burn
no.
in hell.
You might take her down with you, I suppose.
Yes.
You know, she knocks you out, you grab her legs, and you pull her into the underworld.
This was a very, very fun fight.
It was, right?
I definitely enjoyed
entertaining,
watching this fight.
high level, high skill level. I love watching this. You guys know I'm a little bit biased to the female matches, but only because I love seeing this sport grow, and I think it grows in the modern day. Right now, it's women. We are growing, and I love seeing it.
Well, there's only two sexes, and the men. The men have been.
You've already grown.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You've already grown. It's our turn.
We've been doing MMA for a minute, so it's time for the women to
No,
catch
it
up.
definitely is, though. It's that time. I think the strawweight division's just been established. Hopefully, we'll see maybe a 125-pound division or maybe even 145. See some Chris
Those are-
Cyborg in the UFC.
Yeah, I
Maybe.
suppose.
All right, that's a long way
I mean,
away.
speaking of which, I mean, she did just fight last Thursday at the Invicta show.
They're giving her. Are they giving her schmucks, or is she just that good?
She destroyed her.
I'm asking a
destroyed
question:
her opponent.
Are they giving her schmucks, or is she that good?
No, I
they're
don't
giving her
think.
schmucks.
I don't think they're
But
giving
I
her
think
tomato cans or
I think they're giving her schmucks, but she still is that good.
She is that good.
Because she's not.
I believe it 100%.
She's destroying these ladies. She's not like
She
barely
really
beating
is.
these girls, or she's destroying these ladies.
I would like her and Ronda to get into like a battle, and Ronda be like, "Well, I finished someone in 14 seconds. Well, I'm gonna finish someone in 13.
Well, Ronda's going to win that. It's
I'm
been
gonna finish someone in
14
12.
seconds. It's under 30 seconds.
Yeah, Ronda's gonna
Cyborg
win that.
needs that minute, you know?
Yeah, Ronda's gonna win that. But it would be interesting.
In the co-main event tonight, though, Josh the Punk Thompson, Tony El Kukui Ferguson. To me, this was a little bit of a passing of the guard kind of thing. I don't want to say that Josh is any kind of a gatekeeper, but if you can get past Josh Thompson, who probably is not anytime going to get a title shot or really be in the run, you know, and Tony has been amassing a string of wins coming up and really being impressive and super aggressive and personable in all of his matches. This to me was fight of the night. It was bloody. it was constant back and forth. Josh always is great at bringing the action, win or lose. 30-26 across the board. Those are pretty strong numbers for Tony. But just like the Jorgensen-Gamburian fight, I don't think that necessarily reflected the effort of the losing fighter in that match.
Me too, Joseph Boza. It is both. They are giving her schmucks, but she is thankful. Thank you, Joseph Boza. I'd rather have Joseph Boza agree with me than anyone else.
There you
All
go.
right, man. You got it.
This fight was sometime.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This fight was
This
1, 2, 3.
fight was really
Awesome.
bloody.
What are you,
Awesomely buddy.
Armisen and what's her face
try
from
it again.
Saturday Night
Garth and
Live?
Kath. Try it again.
Garth and Kath, yes.
This fight was
bloody.
really bloody. Wow.
That was almost fun. It's good for one or two jokes, but after
He
that,
just
I'm
didn't
done.
listen. That is
I'm not
chop number
37
two.
years
That is
old.
chop number 2.
Oh, you're such a liar.
You have so many more.
No, you're 38 years old.
Anyway,
This fight was awesome. You thought it wasn't going to be funny anymore.
Touche.
I'm gonna go first. This fight was awesome. This was my personal fight of the night. Back and forth. That Josh Thompson, man, that guy does not give up. Because I thought he was going to give up on a couple Kimuras, on a key lock or on lock. That guy's got either he's got a rubber arm or that guy just doesn't know the words or does not have the physical capability of just tapping out. Because I thought that guy was done. His face was bloody, but he was still putting up such a great fight. He hit Ferguson with a few spinning back fists. I'm like, oh my god, it's over. But no, but it went to decision, and rightfully so. Ferguson did win.
How about Ferguson with those front rolls, huh?
Oh, I know.
Getting out from being against the cage.
Listen, Tony
Even when he wasn't
Ferguson.
against the cage, he still did it.
Tony Ferguson has what I call the Eddie Bravo charm. Something about the guys that train under Eddie Bravo. I'm getting there. Hold on. Something about the guys that train under Eddie Bravo have such composure in the cage. They're so calm in the cage, and they just have this calmness in the cage that Tony Ferguson has. Is
it just the familiarity and comfort with no-gi jiu-jitsu?
I think it might be. I think it might be just the way they train as well. They're all very in touch with themselves, and I think they're all.
Some people would say a lot of them are high.
Or that.
Peace to you, Eddie, my man. No,
But it's true. It is very true. The way that they train, I obviously go down there a lot. Christina trains down at Tap Out in downtown LA.
Who's Christina?
My girlfriend.
Oh,
it's official.
Wow.
Woo, woo, woo.
It's AfterBuzz official now.
It's AfterBuzz official now. It was USA Network Global TV official 2 weeks ago. Yeah. But anyway, so she trains down there. So I go down there and I watch those guys train, and they're impressive. And I think that this speaks volumes. If you can get inside the cage and keep calm, therefore keep your cardio, it means it can make or break a fight.
Ooh, I disagree with Joseph Boza.
What do you think about let the wolves meow? Do you agree with that person?
See, if you acknowledge him, then he's going to continue.
I don't mind. This is we're trying to engage. Go for it.
Let the wolves meow. I mean, I don't even know what that means.
Calls us 3 cock-sucking melon heads. Ha 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 ha.
That's rated
Cuts
R.
off. Yeah.
We just got canceled. But Joseph Boza said that Josh Thompson, Tony Ferguson could be Fight of the Year nominee.
I agree.
Maybe nominee, but I as long as Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald still exist, I think that there's really no other question about it.
But the fact that we're talking about 2 Fight of the Night potentials in the same week.
That is true.
Right.
That's a good
Is
point.
epic.
That just shows how good of a card this tonight was.
Yes.
And we all knew it was coming, even without Gilbert Melendez versus Ally Conde. This was a stacked card. We talked about it the week
Am I
ago, 2 weeks ago.
biased? People tell me online. Am
Probably
I
so.
biased, or is the SoCal fighters bringing it? I really think that a lot of guys that come from California in general, I think, has a lot of really, really talented MMA fighters.
I think a lot of times that California is drawn to a lot of fighters. I mean, Anderson Silva and Lyoto Machida live here.
That's true.
So when you have
And there's a lot
guys
of good
training at
schools here
Black
in
House,
general.
when you have people like Ronda Rousey, I just think it's just something in the water that makes people, fight.
I think it might be the history of MMA
exactly.
being created here.
Guys
Torrance, California.
In Torrance,
guys
California.
like Gene LaBelle, like he's always been an LA
Very
guy.
true.
You
Very
have
true.
you have a huge amount in SoCal. You have a lot of pretty people and athletic people trying to do many different things, and of course, a lot of them are also excuse me,
sorry.
martial artists trying to act, for example, or trying to do films, TV, produce, write, whatever. And of course, and stuntmen as well, very typically will have martial arts backgrounds. So you have an influx of that kind of talent here. Now, let's not sleep on NorCal. Northern California brings it as well, and Washington State, Portland. MMA has thrived on the West Coast a lot more than the East Coast, historically speaking, and even throughout the Midwest even. So it's no surprise, obviously. This state is one of the hotbeds
I feel
for
that,
it.
and I hope I'm not disrespecting anyone, so please don't beat me up. Kind of going back to the Ultimate Fighter, American Top Team versus Black Zillions, and I'm just quoting Dana White here, and I agree with him, that a lot of those fights were a little lackluster. There were a few of those fights that were only even really good, but I don't know, maybe it's something in the water in Florida. I think if there was maybe
there's something in the schedule on that season,
like
I'll tell you.
But at the same time, I think if it was two, big schools from California, I think it would be a lot more entertaining fights than it was with the season of Ultimate
Florida
Fighter
is definitely, like you said, a hotbed for talent. I'm not gonna lie. I trained down there with the American Top Team guys. There is a lot of talent in South Florida in general. But that being said, this season I don't think was the greatest Ultimate Fighter they've ever put on. But sometimes that's due to stylistic matchups. Maybe it didn't. There
Did you
wasn't
guys
the best matchups. But
I'm guessing you probably didn't, because we were on the air when the Ultimate Fighter finale happened. But Michael Graves versus Vicente Luque, I think. Michael Graves went 1-1 in this season of Ultimate Fighter, and looked like a completely different guy. He was having a rough time in both those matches. The second match that he won, he was getting pounded on pretty badly, but was able to survive, get out, and got, I believe, a rear naked choke. But in that match, he dominated completely. He looked like a completely different guy. Kamaru Usman, who was the star of the Black Zillions, faced Haider Hassan. I hope I got that one right. Even when I get it right, I end up screwing it up. But Hassan has gone through 4 or 5 different guys from ATT, finished them, and Kamaru had his number here, choked him out, I believe, also with a rear naked choke. I think it was more the schedule than a reflection of those teams in general.
And I think something that we forget about the Ultimate Fighter is that these guys are in the Ultimate Fighter to learn still. You know what I mean?
I disagree.
I don't think so, because I think they're not at the peaks of their career. I don't think. I think it's
a lot of them are.
I think this specific
a lot
season
of them are on the
little,
downslope, actually,
because you had guys like Steve Caro,
this was a weird season, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess it's hard to say.
I think previous seasons, I think they are mostly there to learn, but I think with this specific season, it was. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It was. Was it 8?
8 from each team,
8
welterweights.
Non-UFC fighters, then, obviously, because there's a lot more people in that camp than just the guys you see on TV. So it's, when you see guys like Steve Caro or Ryan Graves who've been fighting for a long time.
That's true.
So I think that it was, like you said, it was just a weird season.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't watch most of it, so I can't attest that much to this season.
Yeah.
But I can attest to the general format.
I think it was more so like the coaches and they hate each other and whatnot. So
right. And that's definitely good drama.
Let's talk about that shortly. We'll hold on that, but getting to the main event here, Frank Mir, Todd Duffee. Wow. Nothing but, when you talk about great heavyweight fights, slugfests, barn burners, slobber knockers, this one certainly delivered. You go back to
Andrei Arlovsky versus Travis Brown.
Sure, that one, or Travis Brown and Overeem, or I'm thinking Hunt and Bigfoot. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mir and Bigfoot, I believe, as well.
From a few months ago?
Yeah. These guys just came out swinging heavy combos to the head, back and forth. Both of them were landing really well.
Let me explain to you how this fight went. I want everybody that's watching or listening on iTunes to go, if you have the video game, the UFC video game, doesn't matter which one it is. There's 4 of them. It doesn't matter which one it is. Put it on, play the game, turn it on, pick a fighter, the person next to you, pick a fighter. Press every button except the block button. And that's what this fight was.
Yeah, right?
That was so well said.
Yeah. Because that's exactly how this fight went. Every button you pressed except for the block one.
That's how I play those video games.
Yeah, that's how you should.
I don't know how to use video games, and that's what I do. I just hit all the buttons.
There were a lot of shots that each guy took. I thought Todd Duffee was going to be out maybe 30 seconds before than what he did. But then he came back with a few shots, and before you know it, Timber...
It was one of those fights where I was like, oh my gosh, please knock one another out in this first round, because if not, you guys are going to have no gas tank for the second round. you knew that that's what was going to happen if this went more than one round because of the way it started. It started with fireworks.
See, I've always loved Frank Mir, and especially going back, and I say it all the time, his fight, go back and watch it on Fight Pass 4.
$9.99.
$9.99.
Under George Hermoza's account.
You still use it? You still use it?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And I love watching this fight because mostly it's Joe Rogan being so over enthusiastic about it. But on UFC 140, when he fought Big Nog, and there was a couple times where Big Nog looked like, is it Big Nog really?
Nog.
It's Nogueira, but it's Nog.
Nogueira, so I don't know why I said Nog. It's like eggnog, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to make that reference.
I'm not drinking a glass of Big Nog.
You're lactose intolerant.
Sometimes. I don't know.
He's Brazilian intolerant, I think.
It's 11:58. I better hurry.
I know, I'm keeping track.
It's 11:58. So, so going back to that fight, and that's the Frank Mir that I love. I mean, he's the guy who looked like he was getting knocked out. Before you know it, he starts getting Nogueira in an armbar, and he's flipping, listen to Joe Rogan. It's like, oh my, typical Joe Rogan.
Right.
Oh my God. So, like it just, he's trying to broke his arm. So I know, honestly, I thought that's how this fight was going to go. I thought he was going to take him to the ground and somehow he's going to find a way with his high level, not even high level, world-class jiu-jitsu that Frank Mir has. I thought that's how this fight was going to go. But before I know it, they asked him in the post-fight interview, like, typical, just clenched down on my mouthpiece and just swung away.
Yeah.
And
that is what he did.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, look at that fight. Were his eyes even open? That was awesome. Definitely a knockout contender.
I guess I'm a little bit surprised that we didn't see that go into the ground. Mir deciding to. Yeah, obviously.
I'm
didn't need
looking
to
at it on paper of what it would have been. Yeah,
it might go back to strategy and matchup, and we've seen in the past, Todd Duffee doesn't exactly have the greatest chin in the world either. So it's one of those things where Mir probably went along with whatever he knows that his opponent's not good at. So
I like that. I like that in a offender. He looks at what he can do to break down his opponent's weaknesses, and he. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
12
to
o'clock
you.
on the dot.
Happy birthday
as we record this thing, guys.
George and Jay.
J-Day and Georgia Palooza is now in full and total effect.
To you.
For the next 24 hours. Frankly, kind of just like the Purge. Lock your doors, lock your windows, just stay inside.
Dude, seriously, I cannot wait for the Purge to happen in real life.
There will be chaos and state.
So I could go like this.
Hey, you know what? I can get in on that too.
Ready?
Stereo.
So, I was saying to myself about Frank Mir. You guys keep doing that. I can keep talking.
No, I think that makes for horrible podcast.
Frank Mir, I was saying
as if it hasn't already.
Being a huge Frank Mir fan as I am, I want to see him win, but I don't want to see him go up in the rankings because I know he'd get murdered by Cain Velasquez and Fabricio Verdum. Although Fabricio against Frank Mir is a dream match that I want to see, that I know will not happen because I don't think Frank Mir will be able to surpass that gatekeeper of the third or the fourth ranked heavyweight guy.
Well,
Frank Mir is definitely one of those guys to me that will always be a top contender in the sense of in his weight class, he will always be in that top 10, top 15, but is he ready for our current top 3, top 4? Is he ready for that title contention?
Well, let's talk about that. That's what's fascinating. He did mention, though, that he it was kind of a what was it? That he did want to get back into the top 5. He did want to be in title contention there, be in that conversation.
Right.
He's got 2 wins now: a first round finish over Bigfoot Silva, first round finish over Todd Duffee. Prior to that, 4 losses in a row.
Because he's lost to Overeem, to Josh Barnett, to Junior Dos Santos, all guys that are ranked above him. I don't see him beating those guys, the second time around.
Right. Well, but here's the thing. This is a great conversation that I'm curious about.
All you need to say is Robbie Lawler, and the conversation over.
There's Robbie Lawler, but there's also the biggest headline of the week here is Mr. Fedor Emelianenko coming back. And after a 3-year retirement.
I think he's going to go to Bellator.
Yeah, fair to say. Yeah. Very, very likely so. But it's a strange resurgence we're seeing especially in the heavyweight division, between Andrei Arlovsky. Who would have thought, a year ago that you'd be talking to Andrei Arlovsky in the
contender.
Top 5, maybe top 4?
Yeah.
Who else are we talking about here? Refresh my memory here. Who am I running for? We got
but I know what you're
Mirko
saying.
back.
It's really weird to see these Pride guys coming out of retirement, or even so continuing these decade-long plus careers. Because to me, and we've had this conversation a million times, I think, but new school versus old school. Do these guys have the same mindset that they did when they first started? And do they have the same mindset of the fighters that are fighting now in these divisions? And I feel like it creates such a crazy matchup sometimes. Who was it?
There's something, because the other one I was going to point to was Fabricio Verdum.
Okay. Peaking
at 37 years old, now considered one of the top, a lot of people are talking about, top heavyweight in the world,
Oh, he's the champ.
When people said Fedor was coming, yeah, exactly. Well, that's my point. People said Fedor was coming back. I said, to what? Like, the heavyweights have passed him by. Oh, wait. Because Fabricio Verdum is the champion. Or Andrei Arlovsky, who's in the top 4 now in the UFC. There's something, and I don't know if if there's anything intrinsic to the heavyweights. Maybe that's just, the certain guys that we're looking at in particular. Because that is the case. I mean, we will see that. Obviously, Robbie Lawler, a resurgence. There is a way of having kind of a second chapter in your career, clearly here in MMA, which is not necessarily something that a lot of people would have thought about because of the impact of the sport has on your body. A lot of times you make your run and you're done and you move on to be a coach.
Right. I mean, it's interesting to study things like this, being the fans that we are and the analysts that we are. It's interesting to look at, like, how long can you be in this game and still be relevant? But I don't think there is a clear-cut answer. I feel like everyone has their own path in this sport. We see people that, their prime is when they first start and they're hot off the market and they're tearing through divisions, like the guys we have coming up now. Then we see guys that were in Pride that are now coming back, and Fabricio Verdum's a perfect example. He's
Josh Barnett is still in the mix.
Killing it right now.
You look at a guy
Barnett.
like Rory McDonald as well, who, he got beat up. Look at his face. I want to see how his face looks now, because I think it's, oh my God. But the guy's only 25 years old.
Yeah.
So who's to think that in 5 years, yes, he's only going to be 30, while guys are peaking at 37, 38, but a 30-year-old Rory McDonald might be at the end of his career.
Right.
So
that's what people may say, and then he may take some time off and come back.
And come back
Exactly.
at 36 and win the title belt.
Jeez. Imagine if our other
French-Canadian
friend with 3 letters came back after his hiatus. Imagine how rested he might be, huh?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it just depends if he wants it or not. We were talking about earlier that things that separate some great fighters with some okay and good fighters are just having that killer instinct that you can't teach.
Right.
And we were talking about it earlier with, Ronda's training partners, with Brown, all those guys that are losing. They all have essentially the same training people that are training them as Rousey, but why is Rousey above everyone else? Because she's got that it factor that you can't teach, that you can't teach that killer instinct.
Right.
You got to just have it in you. And it's just a matter of whether they have it. I think GSP, if he comes back, I know he's going to have the skills no matter what, but is he going to have that killer instinct that he had in 2008, 2009, 2010 until he
It's
pretty
the
much...
same pattern we saw like with Anderson Silva. Obviously, he's always had the skill. It didn't go away. His skill never went away.
Yeah.
This went away, and this went away, and that's what caused him to lose those couple fights. And I think that speaks volume. I think that's what makes Ronda Rousey. That's what makes Conor McGregor now, because they have that mindset. I won't lose, and it works.
Speaking of Conor McGregor, one of the 2 big announcements in the past several this week, several days.
Yeah, a few days.
Yeah. Conor McGregor and Uriah Faber now the coaches for the next season 22 of The Ultimate Fighter. What do you guys make of that? There was an incident before, I think, backstage, right before weigh-ins, with Conor and Uriah running into each other
weird.
in the bathroom.
It seems like interesting timing.
Yeah, kind of coincidental,
they put
right?
That little thing, and then they tell us they're going to be coaches.
You're learning how to smell a work.
Yeah.
Our girls all grows up,
Look
Georgie
at
boy.
me.
I mean, at first I had a problem with it until they specifically said they're not going to be fighting, and I'm like, all right, that's fine. I don't care about that then.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the greatest setup. For
I think
the
it's
season of the
stupid that
Ultimate
they're not
Fighter.
fighting. Well, no, it's not stupid that they're not fighting because obviously different weight classes, but certainly if they did fight, it makes no sense.
No, Faber just fought at bantamweight. Oh, I'm sorry. Faber
Yeah, he's back at 45, but it is really silly when you've got Frankie Edgar, you've got Jose Aldo. That business needs to be squared away, and you're going to pair him up again. I think Ultimate Fighter is not the place for Conor McGregor, although it is.
No.
I suppose it'll help the ratings, but it's not necessarily going to help him.
Does that mean that Conor McGregor's hands are tied this whole time he's filming? He can't fight?
Yeah.
So does that mean we're gonna have to wait to see him and Jose Aldo after the season?
No, because the season starts September 5th.
Right.
So
which means that they're airing it almost. Shooting it very very soon.
Next week. So I'm saying he'd probably be stuck in no later than maybe mid to late August. So
they were looking at fall anyway for McGregor.
So I guess it's not
See,
that
I'm
bad.
thinking January. I'm thinking that they're going to do the end of the end of the year, early year.
I don't want to
So-
wait that long.
Well, no, I don't either.
Nobody does.
Gosh.
13 weeks.
I've waited this long for Dillashaw and Burrell too.
We're just gone under the radar. Everybody kind of keeps forgetting about that fight.
I didn't.
2
I'm
weeks
right
from
here.
now.
I've been wanting to see that rematch, and I've been wanting to see Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor.
Yes.
These need to happen.
Again, how the cards align or how the stars align is probably the best thing that happened because now there might be a little bit more interest in that fight considering how everything played out.
That's true.
So what do you do at
And
the
it's
end of
more-
the season?
You have Ronda Rousey and Betch Kohea to hold you over.
At the end of the season,
It's like
that's
in
going to
2
be
weeks.
2 weeks.
I don't want to wait that long. I want to see. Yeah.
So you've got Conor McGregor on the shelf until the end of the season. Uriah Faber on the shelf, although, I mean, frankly, that's not... I don't know that Uriah's even top 10 anymore. But he still is a great face for the company.
Mm-hmm.
You put... At the end, so they've got to fight. You're building up to something, right? McGregor fights, let's presume, Aldo. Who does Faber fight? And why would we care, per
What
se?
division?
Yeah, I don't think it's
Faber's choice.
I don't think it's necessarily a setup for a fight, like you said.
It's not going to be Frankie Edgar, right?
It's more of like
Should
a
it
drama play. It's good drama, you know.
Honestly, my gut says that they offered Edgar the coaching spot first, but then he said no, so they went with Faber.
I don't believe that. I think Edgar
Faber
would
was the
go.
first choice.
Edgar would take whatever path he had to get to a title shot. I think they want to put Conor on the shelf for Jose Aldo. Maybe I just answered my own question.
Dana said he's
you
going to
did.
wait for Aldo to get healthy.
Sure.
That there's not going to be
No,
interim
because
title
That's
defenses.
the biggest money fight, and on top of that, you got an interim
That
title.
fight's
You've got to do the unification fight before you do any other fight. Before he takes on any
By
other.
the way, I
contenders.
know there wasn't an official after show for it, but did you guys watch Stephen Thompson versus Jake Ellenberger?
I did.
My God, was that an awesome fight! And everybody knows, anybody who knows me knows that I've been praising Stephen Thompson for years since its first UFC fight.
Didn't you talk to him on Twitter?
I mean, I wouldn't say talk. It's more of a.
Look, tell us what happened.
I tweeted
Talk with him on Twitter.
because like I said, I'm a huge Stephen Thompson fan. I've been a fan of this guy since his first UFC fight when he knocked the guy out with like a cool kick. Sucked when he lost to Matt Brown, but it's one of those things where he probably benefited more from that loss than anything else. Tweeted him out because he's finally ranked after years as number 9. You go from not ranked and go to number 9, which is pretty impressive. And I'm like, hey, Wonder Boy, like at Wonder Boy MMA, I think it is. Finally, after years, you'd finally been ranked. And he says, "Oh, thanks, buddy." Oh no! And then I put, feel free to come on. I would love to have you on AfterBuzz for an interview. He's like, "Cool, thanks, anytime, buddy."
Buddy.
I'm like,
We're in.
I guess
we
we're
got
friends
the
now.
in.
I don't know what to do now.
You are friends.
Wonder Boy Thompson,
Now-
911.
Now you message him and you say, "Come on AfterBuzz. These are the times. These
Can
are
you
the
do it
dates."
for me?
I got you.
Okay, cool.
Actually, shout out to Wonder Boy right now. I'll just send him this link.
Gee. Make George do the work.
All right,
He's got
George,
to
do the
earn
work,
it.
do the work.
We'll coach him, but you get his Skype, you get his email address. Done. The other big news they announced on the show this evening. Next title defense, Demetrius Johnson. Well, they announced it rather. Demetrius Johnson's next title defense against John Dodson.
John Dodson.
Rematch from, I'm blanking on how many years ago, but
Yeah, I was like, 2. I think it's like early 2013.
yeah, not too long ago. This will be September 5th in Las Vegas.
I don't know if it's official yet, but I'm more excited about Joseph Benavidez versus Henry Cejudo. Because that's going to be a bigger tilt in that division. Because, again, it's all about, as a fan, as a fight fan, yes, I want to see John Dodson get that other chance. But I'm not a big fan
I want to see Henry Cejudo rise up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a big fan of guys who lost pretty, not badly, but just lost
decisively.
Yeah, get another shot. And again, part of it has to do with Demetrius Johnson cleaning out the division. So now it's like, hey, there's no one left. But again, I'm more interested in Henry Cejudo and seeing what he can do against a top
big time
3 guy, a flyweight in the world.
That, and I'm also very excited. I'm kind of going to that title match right away. I want to see Johnson versus Cejudo.
Yeah.
That one I'm going to pop big for.
You actually called your mother to make sure you didn't have plans, didn't you?
I will be in Seattle. I don't know why I'm talking to the camera for this one. Yeah, I'm going to be in Seattle.
Tell the people.
We'll be in Seattle during that fight. The last time for a DJ fight, I was actually flying back during DJ's fight. I landed probably, I think, an hour after the fight, and didn't get to see and hang out with all of his AMC people up there in Seattle. So this time now, I will get to go.
It's important for you.
I will watch with DJ's team, hopefully, if they invite me to the house, wherever they're watching it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Although I probably could also be in Vegas for that matter.
Yeah, it's closer to home.
Also, congratulations to Ronda Rousey for winning Best Fighter Award with the ESPYs. Not the
female
EPSYs.
athlete.
Not the EPSYs, the ESPYs.
And best female athlete.
Yeah. That's pretty compliment. I mean, I don't know who was nominated, but I assume Serena Williams was nominated.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the girls.
Floyd was nominated for Best Fighter, or probably Best Fighter or Best Athlete.
She beat Floyd Mayweather for Best Fighter.
Yeah. And had some words there.
Yep, she had some words.
Was he there? Like, was he in?
I'm sure he was.
In LA at the ESPYs?
I have no idea.
I'm sure he was.
That'd be awkward if they kind of ran into each other at some point. Because we all know Ronda's she's not afraid of practically anything.
No, she's not.
Okay, so she was up against Lindsey Vonn. You know, everybody loves her. Brianna Stewart, Serena Williams. So, honestly,
that was for female athlete.
Yeah, beating Serena Williams in practically anything, I think is pretty cool. She is one of the best female athletes of all time.
I agree.
And again, we had this conversation, I think, last time Ronda Rousey fought, that I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't go past putting Ronda Rousey in one of the best female athletes ever. Like, why not?
Right.
Why not? Why can't she be in that same category as a Mia Hamm or a Lindsey Vonn or anyone in that matter who's female?
No, absolutely. Ronda Rousey is the most dominant athlete on the planet right now. I truly believe that. And people say, oh, well, her weight class isn't as stacked. Well, you know what? She's the best of the best right now. If you could find someone that can beat her, please show me.
And the way she beats him, too.
I want to acknowledge our guy Joe Boza here again. Going back a topic, talking about the reality show. He says, I think they offered Jose the coaching spot, and he said, no way. I mean, maybe he was just ribbing about that. I don't think that they would have. He doesn't speak English. It doesn't make sense.
It would be kind of hard to market
Brazil
versus Europe and American market.
That's what I would have liked. No, I think you
bilingual.
You bring them both here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be fun
Team
for
Brazil.
us, fans to watch, but they're trying to overall. But again, it's Connor, so who knows?
That makes exactly. That's it. The stars are Connor and Jose. Yeah. You put them both in houses in Vegas. The Europeans will have no problem talking. The Brazilians, okay, maybe there's a difficulty. Maybe you do a lot of you do a lot of what do you want to call it? Subtitle work. But that, frankly, that could be a lot of fun too, because then you've got two different sides talking shit about each other. Nobody knows what they're talking about, and people are getting offended over stuff that is just like, hey, pass the soup.
Right.
I think that would have made for a better dynamic.
To it. It would be the first would it be the first official bilingual season of The Ultimate Fighter done in the U.S.?
In the U.S., yes, because I know they had the Brazil with Vanderlei and Chael Sonnen. Yeah, but that was the UFC Brazil. Oh, I'm sorry, Ultimate Fighter Brazil.
Right. Yeah. They've never done it in the U.S. bilingual, so that would be interesting. I would like to see that. And Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor talking smack. Are you wrapping us up here, Jay?
I'm thinking here, we're going to wrap us up. We are 12:15. We're 16 minutes rather into.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Where are you taking us?
Thank you.
No, where are you taking us, superstar?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Big Wang's Wings is still open. Grill goes.
Can you just open up a credit card? Because I know you're going to get that WWE contract anyways.
Oh, okay. I'll just tell Vince McMahon that. I spent my first.
Do you have his number?
Yeah, let me call him. Hold on one second. Yeah, no problem.
The wrong side of the phone to your ear, dummy.
I don't know how to use the phone.
Guys, we're going to be back before too long anyway. Of course, this weekend from Scotland, the UFC's first foray into Scotland.
Foray.
Michael Bisping facing Thiago Alves?
Thiago ladies.
I am late. Talis
Different
ladies.
division.
Oh, it
She's-
is two ladies. We need to get out of here.
yeah.
Do you get that one?
The
I'm very
head's
excited
going
about
there.
JoJo.
I'm gonna wrap us up so we can get out of here sometime today.
Joanne Calderwood.
Guys,
My girl.
it was so great seeing you all. Follow me on Twitter at ToughDaria and on Instagram.
No,
Guys,
follow her at Daria B28.
That's not where you follow
She has
me.
a hard time letting go. It's over. It's done. For now.
For now, Bronco.
Talk to you guys later. Peace.
My Twitter is G Hermoza.
It's his
GHERMOZA.
birthday, it's his birthday, it's his birthday,
At
it's his birthday.
GHERMOZA.
Everybody tweet us happy birthday. We deserve it, damn it.
GHERMOZA.
Bye.
Talk to you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
J10.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.